Welcome to day 2 of Spinning and Weaving Week 2020 here at Shack Spindle Company, where we're on day 2 of our weave along and we're going to be doing loops. As you can see, the loop yarn that I chose on this pillow that I did for the sample has a little bit of a gradient and it goes from light to dark. I didn't have any of that yarn in a colorway that fit with what I'm weaving this week, so I chose these two yarns. One is a worsted weight wool, and the other is a wool boucle that has bobbles in it. I really liked this yarn for the look of it, but it really didn't have the weight or the heft to have that dynamic look as the yarn did here in the sample. So these are the two yarns that I'm going to be using today, and I'm really happy that you are here to join us. If you haven't already, please log on to shackspindle.com. Sign up for the weave along and you won't miss a post. Let's get weaving. I've decided to use these two yarns together to really give a little more bulk and heft. If you can see, this novelty yarn's rather thin. So in order to do that, I'm going to find the two ends of the yarn and wind them onto the shuttle together. Now, one of the problems with doing this that you'll often run into is that the yarn doesn't wind off at the same rate because of a difference in elasticity. So you want to be very gentle and careful with the yarn as you wind it onto your shuttle. This technique does use up a lot of yarn, so you want to wind your shuttle fairly full. For this technique, you will need an object to actually create your loops. You can use a knitting needle, and not everyone is a knitter. And not everyone likes to knit on broomsticks. So, that being said, you can scour your house for other things that might work, such as a handy kitchen spoon. I think I'm going to be using this size 17 needle. We're going to move into the next opposite shed from where you were with your clasped weft. My last shed was up. I'm going to start with it down. It really doesn't matter for this technique, so don't worry yourself too much. There are no weaving police. Thank goodness. Okay, and I'm going to use that same little technique that I used before. And now my outermost thread happens to be in the down position. So down, I will go under, back into the shed. And I'm just going to pull that over and down. So now we've laid our weft into the open shed, and I'm going to take my needle. Now this is where you can get to decide what kind of weaver you are. You can space them exactly equally, or you can space them very randomly. For the sample that I did, I put each next alternating shed in opposite positions to the ones that I'm lifting up. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my needle, I'm going down and pulling those threads up and placing them around my needle. And I'm not paying much attention at this point. So it's also really convenient and pretty quick to just lift up from that open shed and wrap it around the needle. Now, I just talked a little bit about the spacing. And the spacing that I just talked about was the spacing between your warps. Well, you also get a choice of how spaced you want yours to be in the left. So one of the things that I like to do is after I have all of my loops on and they're at a tension that I like, I'm going to bring this heddle down and just pack that in for a little extra security. Move back into the up shed and take out my loops. When I just spoke about getting to choose how far apart your loops are, if you wanted your loops to be very sparse, you can put in 2 or 3 more weft threads going across. I personally like it kind of shaggy. So I am going to go into that up shed, put my weft across, and now you want to have quite a bit of space here because we're going to be continually pulling from that last exit section to get the amount of yarn that we need to make those loops. So I'm going to do that just by using my right hand and going across. Fairly random, but I also do like to have them somewhat in between the other threads. I'm going to give myself some more space. So much like that bobble that you get from, that you have to create when you're doing tapestry weaving. I'm going to work my way across. And I am not being very particular. And I've gone all the way across. I'm in an up shed. So I'm going to pack it in, move to a down shed, and take my needle out. So if you wanted to create that space, so I've done 2 lines of loops. Now I'm just going to go back in from the right side to the left side. And with these nice little bobbles, I think that that's going to look great. So then I'll be back in that up shed and go across again and create another line of loops. We're going to continue this for a couple more inches, and I'll show you how to finish off. I'm nearing the end of my weaving, and I wanted to talk a little bit about your yarn choices. As you can see, this yarn didn't turn out quite as fluffy as the original sample that I did, and I thought it would be really good, since 3 is my favorite number, to divide this up and have 3 little strips of the loops. And about the yarn choice, because I'm on my last line of loops, and if you have chosen a yarn, you've chosen a yarn from your stash. So we're all using very different yarns. I told you before that the yarn that I'm using, both of them together, are both wool. One is the novelty yarn and the other is a plied worsted. If you have a yarn that's maybe a little bit more slippery and doesn't have quite as much tooth, you might need to make a couple little slight adjustments in your weaving. And one of the ways that you would do this is that we talked about the beating and changing of sheds. So once I have gone all the way across with my loops, I'm going to bring the heddle back and change sheds and pull the needle out. So once I've done that, if your yarn's really slippery, it might not stay seated down. So you would want to beat it again, Put the heddle back into that position that you're going to need for weaving. And continue weaving. If this is not enough, if you're using something like a thicker bamboo yarn, tends to be pretty slippery. For that project, or choosing that yarn, choosing something like a bamboo yarn that's very slippery might mean that you need to use a tabby in between each of your loops. So after you perform a loop row on your weaving, you would want to go back with one row of plain weave, either in the up or the down shed, whatever's opposite from what you just did your last loop on. And that's what a tabby is. A tabby is just one weft or one shot of plain weave. Now we're ready to move on to day 3. Let's get ready for some pickup.